is where Lions walk, and we've got George and Callum this week to review that win at Swansea. And of course, we're looking ahead to the Burnley result as well. Welcome back. And it's also time to vote for our October Player of the Month. How are you, Callum? You enjoyed that one?
Yeah, I'm very good, Mark. Yes, it was a very good win. Didn't really expect it. Very smash and grab. But yeah, we thought we done okay in the game. I thought Harris picked he obviously made 4 changes to the Plymouth game. So he brought in obviously McNamara to shorten it at the back, to strengthen it at the back. Ryan Wintle, Watmore, and I think it was Langstaff as well. For obviously Ivanovic, Aziz, Denor, and Joe Bryan. So he's obviously changed it up. I think it was probably because knowing Swansea City teams, they're always possession-based teams. So I thought Neil probably picked the team that was going to chase the ball for the majority of the game. I didn't think we'd have much possession of the ball at all. But yeah, I mean, the chances in the game, probably Swansea had the majority of the chances. I think looking at the stats, and I wasn't at the game, unfortunately. But looking at the highlights, it was the majority of the chances went Swansea's way. But yeah, I think, a good goal from Denor when he came on. I think Ivanovic was key in that, trying to press from the front to obviously get the ball, win the ball back. And Aziz done brilliantly as well to lay it off for Denor. And overall, yeah, I'm happy with 3 points. But yeah, I just overall happily, really, with how it's gone this week, especially.
Social media was raving, of course, about many. Let's go in for Will first. He says, "Get in, not great, but got the result. Aziz brilliant for the goal. Casper showed his quality with the run and finish, and a shout out for Jensen. Some big saves. A similar one underneath there. Biggest takeaways after that rocky start. Jensen has silenced a lot of his critic with some unreal saves." George, obviously the circumstances in which Jensen has become the number one for Millwall are obviously very sad, but has he proven his critics wrong for you?
He's had a rocky start. I'd say that for a fact. He obviously came in and there was certain circumstances which was out of his control, out of his favour, let's just say, and he's come in and with a good record at Lincoln in the season previous, with lots of clean sheets, and say his distribution for me isn't fantastic. Lots of long balls which drift slightly out the way, out the pitch, etc. In terms of his shot stopping, it hasn't been particularly too good as well. But I thought Saturday, it was excellent. I think he made an excellent double save towards the end, and just before that, previous made another really good save. Has been really commanding. And it was only the week previous, where he was getting a lot of critics after the Derby game, where people felt he should have been better, and he sort of just scrambled with the ball. Really, it didn't look great, didn't look convincing at all. It was a really poor goal to concede. But he's backed that up since with 2 clean sheets, and let's say I thought he was brilliant Saturday.
We can't let another win like this go by without mentioning the main man, Essay. 8 dribbles completed in that game, which was the highest, I think, of any league game across any of the 4 divisions so far this season. I don't want to bore ourselves, Callum, by talking about him again, but he's one special player, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's a phenomenal player. I mean, I went to the Plymouth game on the Wednesday, and honestly, I think I had loads of people raving. I mean, he's just a joke. I mean, some of the stuff that this boy is doing on the pitch at the moment is just I can't remember a Mill player at his age especially doing some of the stuff that he did. I think against Plymouth I think George put it on his Twitter. George said the Essay turn, which was I like that one because it's a very his turn. It was sort of like a Maradona-esque, but it weren't that far. But as in, like, it was sort of similar, but he done it in his own way, if that makes sense to the viewers. But yeah, the boy he's just on fire at the moment, and Obviously, I've been hearing on Twitter recently that Palace are interested in him, and I wanted to ask George about this actually. What do you think? What's all about obviously all the the release clause and stuff like that? What's your take on all that? Because there's been a bit of a debate on Twitter recently about how much his release clause is and whether he's going to go in January or whatever. I was wondering what you thought about that.
Yeah. Well, the rumor obviously came around on Twitter yesterday, and whether or not there's any substantial sort of truth to it, I don't know. If the rumor of about £12 million release clause is true, that must be for his right foot only, because you have to pay double for his left foot, unfortunately. I'm not so sure whether that rumour's come true or not. Richard Cowley then came out, one of the Millwall journalists, after that as well, said that once he signed the contract, of course, there was the only reason why he signed the contract, or why he did sign it, was because of the release clause behind it. So I'm not sure, but mate, the geezer is unbelievable for his age. He's coming to his own this season, and he's by far our best player. Every single week, he's by far our best player. The way he dribbles with the ball, he just glides, doesn't he? He just drifts in and out of players. He just glides, and he's starting to get goals and assists now as well, which is great to see. And say this season will almost definitely be his final one as a Millwall player, because he's almost definitely gone in the summer. Unfortunately for us, although we like to keep it quiet, and we don't, we mention it every week really, but we want to keep it under the radar how good this kid actually is, because he's going to go on and he's going to have a really bright future. But yeah, say Saturday I thought he was excellent. Tuesday midweek, Plymouth thought he was excellent. And he's really coming into his own, and he's the kid's special. Do you know what I love as well? He's a really down to earth kid as well. You can just see the way he comes out in interviews, the way he talks. You can see he fits really well in the dressing room, and so he seems he's got his head screwed on as well. It's very easy at that age to sort of drift off and think, well, I'm this, I'm that. He's not. He's got his head screwed on. He's every single day is sort of one foot in front of the other. Keep building, keep working. Defensively, he's really improved, and he's a lot stronger as well. He's a lot fitter in every single game. He's just like, wow, mate, this kid is the real deal. He's the real deal.
It's stunning, isn't it, that people writing off Millwall at the start of the season, somebody had you in the relegation zone, or certainly nowhere near where you are now. When Burnley come to the New Den on Sunday, it'll be the final day of the season when you'll head to Burnley in May. George, it's too early to predict, I know this, but when you listen to people saying Millwall could be playoff contenders, whilst it will fill you with a little bit of hope, do you believe, given the football that you've watched over the last 12 games, that there's a possibility that could happen, that game in May might just be you playing at Turf Moor to squeak into the playoffs?
I think there's always been a debate around the sustainability of Neil Harris's football, and I actually think the first 8 or 9 games this season we actually played some quite good stuff, some really good football at times, home and away, and we gave it a really good go. The issue with Neil Harris is his football is very physically demanding, and we've got a very thin squad depth of about 12, 13 players, maybe 14, and outside of that 14, unfortunately, the rest of them aren't quite up to it, or they haven't got enough experience at this level. So in the last couple of away games we've seen at West Brom and Swansea away now, we've sort of sat off them. They're two really possessive based teams, so we was going to sit off and let them have majority of the ball, and try hit them on the counter attack, very much as defensive style of football, which it hasn't been brilliant to watch, but we've walked away with 2 clean sheets and 4 points from those 2 away games. The question still is over the sustainability. Can you go the whole season playing away at teams like Burnley, Sunderland, Leeds, Sheffield United, playing that style of football, and expect us to still reach the top 6? The answer is no, unfortunately. That's not going to happen. As well as the inconsistency problems, we're still obviously the last 2 results have been fantastic, and you say we're unbeaten in 4 now as well. But there's still an issue over inconsistency, I feel, as well. You just never know. We might go lose Saturday now. or Sunday, sorry, we've got Burnley next week, or should I say? We might go lose that. Then we've got Leeds after that, and then Stoke and then Sunderland. So we've got some real tough fixtures coming up as well. So for me, there's still an issue of a sustainability in terms of the style of football and inconsistency. But if we can sort the inconsistency out, then who knows? Who knows? I think we'll be off it though, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. Let's get some October Player of the Month nominations off you then, because it has been a pretty decent month overall for you Lions. Callum, who gets the nod for you?
I think it's a difficult one really, because I could give it to a few players. This month's been a bit a hard one for me really, because we haven't really had the best of, the games have been quite tight. Obviously we've spoken about Eze already, but I'm not going to pick Eze because that's just boring. So I'm going to go for Japhet Tanganga. I just think the guy is just a machine at the back. I think without him, I think I've said this before, but without him, our defence is very par average. I just think he transcends that back line to a different level. And if he wasn't in it, then we'd be banging trouble, I think, with the players that we've got on the bench and the players that we have now. So, yeah, I'm going to go Japhet Tanganga for me.
Okay. Shout. George?
I'm going to go with the more boring answer, let's say. I'm going to go with Romain Essay, just because in a month where I'm looking at our results, 2 draws, 2 wins and a loss, on paper, it's not been a terrible month, but the football, I think, has certainly digressed in the last month, and I think that's just a fitness issue as well as probably tactically as well. But in terms of the results, 3 clean sheets as well, a really poor start to the month. But I'm going to go with Romain Essay, just because I feel like in the games where we have won, which is in the last 2, Plymouth at home and Swansea away, I think he's been a real sort of inspiration for the rest of the team. I think the Plymouth game, the winning goal was all him. The way he won the ball back on the halfway line, drove up the pitch, and then received it back from Honeyman to score. And I thought Saturday against Plymouth he was brilliant as well. I didn't watch the Derby game, but the West Brom game I thought he played quite well, and the Cardiff one was just a really bad day at the office for everyone. So I'm going to go with Romain Essay as our player of the month.
Well, all right. And finally, then, because it's Halloween, we're letting you do a little bit of something evil. I'm asking you to nominate the 3 teams which you would like to get rid of from the division, in terms of the fan bases that annoy you, or teams that don't mean much. Not many teams have put Millwall down so far. A couple have. Callum, who would you get rid of?
Oh dear. Who do I not like? I don't like Luton. Do you know what? I don't like Luton. I have this really, to be fair, funny enough, there was an incident that happened last week. I think it was last week, after they played Sunderland on Wednesday, and the fan was racially abusing Elijah Adebayo on Instagram. And that's not for me to say, obviously, that's why I hate Luton, but it's just not condoned in general in football. So, but no, just Luton. I don't really like their fans, and I just think that when they come down to the Den, or whenever I see Luton fans, before games, etc., because I've got a Luton fan as a mate as well, and he just talks a lot of trash to me. So I think that's probably I don't like Luton really. I'd get rid of them straight away for me.
Okay. All right, George.
Do you want me to name all 3 now, or do you want me to sort
Yeah,
of
you
one by
can
one?
do. Yeah, you can just name all 3 if you want.
All right. But firstly, I'm going to go with Norwich, because our away record there is horrendous. We haven't won there since about 1980 something. And it's just in the absolute arse end of the country. So Norwich is probably the first one. The second one, I'll probably go with Stoke. Really, really boring away day. Really boring. I'll go with Stoke. I'll go with Norwich. And the last one's difficult, because there are a few good away days in this league. Sheffield Wednesday, Sunderland. I'd like to do Pompey this year, obviously. I'm going to go with Oxford just because I don't think Oxford are a championship club. Sorry to any Oxford fans watching. I just don't think Oxford are a championship club.
I mean, we
Right.
can't, just quickly, Mark, sorry, just quickly, we can't not mention Leeds. I mean, us Mill fans absolutely hate Leeds. I mean, we absolutely hate Leeds. So Leeds have got to be up there as well. I forgot to say that. But yeah, Leeds, get rid of them as well.
Okay. All right. I think it was only QPR and Luton that did put you down as well. So you're not universally disliked, as you might think, which is not bad. All right. Thank you very much, you two. Do follow Callum on Twitter, and of course George is got a hugely successful TikTok channel at george.c9. Do drop and follow him as well, and of course, hopefully George will see a bit more of you throughout the year as and when work dictates. And Callum, we'll of course see you again next week when we'll review the Burnley game. Enjoy that, and we'll see you next week. Thank you very much for watching.